there a change in temperature when you melt something? No. For number 2, is the temperature changing? No. What number are we going to use to do that? 40.7 kilojoules per mole. So finish that question. Do number 2. Finish it up. And we have our visitors. Welcome back. Come on in.
Class. Hello?
I don't mind my class. I'm Mr. Duran. My name is Mr. Duran.
This chemistry class?
This is a chemistry class. These are my wonderful chemistry students. And I am their, who am I? Your favorite chemistry teacher ever. For this period.
Great.
No, I'm their favorite chemistry teacher ever. Well, except for some of them because they had another teacher before, but
Probably Mr. Kirby, right?
So,
that's a physics teacher.
okay. So what are you learning about?
What are we learning about? Thermal chemistry.
Thermal chemistry. Okay, good. You got me there.
So, what else are we learning about? In fact, specifically, what are we talking about today?
Heat fusion.
Heat of fusion, which is to do what, Jake?
To take something from its to boil something like
To
increase the heat and then add temperature.
Anytime you add temperature, when you do increase the temperature.
does
Heat and
separate
temperature are
process.
different.
okay? Heat and temperature are say it?
Different.
Does James? The heat required for a solid ice melting point to rise. Does temperature always go up when you add heat?
No.
When doesn't it?
When it's changing
Changing state.
Say that again.
When it's changing state, when you're melting something, the heat actually doesn't go up. So you can add, sorry, the temperature doesn't go up.
So you add heat, but the
So you add heat, but the temperature stays the same. In fact, if you have a glass of ice, a glass of ice water, the water is at 0 degrees Celsius. Ice is 0 degrees Celsius. If you add heat, it's still 0 degrees Celsius until you have no more ice.
Is that because it takes the energy that change state?
That's right, because that's exactly what it's doing, to change state.
So I get that one
You get
right.
that one right. Point for Governor Brown. Nice.
That's pretty elementary. Well, great.
Great. You have any
Anything else?
questions?
No, I mean, everybody like chemistry here? No, you don't like chemistry.
No, I like chemistry.
What?
It's pretty interesting. Mr. Graham makes it pretty fun. So, we're gonna make ice cream at the end of the year.
So you learn how to make ice cream, right? Good. This is the superintendent of instruction,
Tom.
state leader.
Tom Torlick.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Wonderful chemistry teacher. I just finished reading a book called Rare Earth, which tracks from the beginning of the universe about 13 billion years ago the formation of basic elements in terms of the original protons, electrons, and particles, and hydrogen. 99% of the universe is hydrogen, and just gets into the whole chemistry where all chemicals have been recycled a few times. So it's a fascinating topic to figure out. Medicine is going to the chemical level. There's a whole host of new universes in the chemical world. So, what are most of you aiming at in terms of where you're going?
Okay, we're talking about chemistry, we've got to talk about the chemistry of the legislature.
There we go. Oh, there we go.
You have your,
Personal chemistry.
You have your assemblyman. right?
Yeah, assemblyman.
This is the key man. I mean, these other people are more peripheral.
Thanks, Governor. No,
This is
but
Cameron Smythe, he
Right.
represents the area, he went to school here.
right,
Yeah.
right. So, yeah, we had chemistry over on the K, the other side.
Yeah.
So, Tom left was my chemistry teacher. I think he's retired now. But so I guess the question I would have is, are you guys able to use all the lab equipment, or do you have to do it in shifts, or can everybody do if you're doing your, when you go to the lab part of the?
Now we can actually use it all because when we were able to get our modernization funds. Now we're finally able to go. When I actually first came here, I had 4 chemistry classes, and when I wanted to do a lab, I would have to plan it out with the other chemistry teacher and switch rooms so that we could do a lab. So we couldn't do labs at the same time. We had to kind of be on a slightly different schedule, which made working together a little bit difficult. But we did what we had to do to get the kids educated.
Right. And so the modernization funds, and that was all part of the bond?
That was something way that I think we got before. I think you could probably answer that better.
Yeah, this is a brand new building opened up in January of 2010. Great facilities. Unfortunately, with the class size increase and fewer teachers being on campus, we have an identical lab right next door that is completely empty right now.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. You know, we actually have. I think this year we had to not have 3 or 4 chemistry classes. We had enough students that needed to take chemistry to have 3 or 4 extra classes. I'm actually teaching an extra period of chemistry. I don't have a prep period like we normally do, just so that we can accommodate as many students teaching chemistry as possible. We have another teacher doing chemistry it's not his thing. He can do it, but he relies a lot on me for help for making sure that if they're teaching it right. And we have enough students who really need and want to take chemistry, but not the teachers to be able to do it, which is really unfortunate. And, you know, we have 40 students in class. We have excellent lab facilities.
Is that higher than it was?
Oh yeah. A couple years ago, I think we were at 37 and 30. It kind of went up from 35 to 37 to 39. And to be honest, this district is actually really good about keeping the numbers pretty low. I actually started teaching in El Unified, where I would have, no joke, 42, 45 students in a lab class, which I don't know if that's how safe that is. I mean, even here, even with our lab facilities, it's kind of tough. I really have to be very, very, very extra careful with making sure that, you know, I use an appropriate amount of chemicals. It's hard to watch everybody with 40 students. It makes it a lot. It's 35. The difference between 35 students and 39, 40 students is a huge difference. Those 4 kids really make a big difference in just management class, teaching class, grading the class. I mean, I don't feel like I know my students this year nearly as much as I did 2 or 3 years ago. It makes a big difference in just getting to know who the students are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are.
Do you guys feel the pinch too with the more classes from when you guys started that thing?
It's just like when you have 30, if you have less students in your class, then like for me, chemistry is super hard. I don't get any of it. So if I had less students in the class, I would probably get so much more out of it, because I would actually get it, because he can actually help me take the time and help me individually.
Are all your classes about this now, or is it just certain classes get a higher, you know, is it certain classes get higher, or is it, you know, just kind of across the standard now?
We have some classes that are lower, but the vast majority of the classes are at class maximum 39 students in the class.
How many of you are planning to go on to college? Is this a course along the way, A to G, and get yourself set?
Yeah, we have to have a certain amount of science requirements. So for me, I kind of thought chemistry was a better choice because I thought it'd be a lot more fun. And I guess a lot of people felt the same way, because it's definitely, there's a lot of students that take chemistry now. So it's kind of, it's a little bit different. Like, I know like the classroom feeling is a little bit more, less personal. So different.
Because of the crowding?
Yeah, probably because of that. I mean, Mr. Duran tries really hard. Like, he's a very good teacher, and he definitely tries to help every student as much as possible. But for some other teachers, I'm probably sure it's a little bit more difficult.
Do you have any computer programs that can be helpful?
There are some. Integrating technology is difficult because every student's supposed to have a free appropriated public education. So even if I have the programs, unless I can use it specifically in the classroom, where I know that they have access to programs, it works. I use a lot of technology in my room. There are programs that help. I know there's like WebAssign. I know there's a couple things out there that we can use, but it's difficult to use that. One, because of funding. It's, you know, those cost money. You have to get site licenses, not just out of that. 2, you have to make sure that students have availability. Not all students, you know, you have students who can't afford to have a computer at home, and they can't afford to even go to the library sometimes, and so they're not getting the same education as somebody else. And so you kind of have to balance those things. So there are, but it's difficult to use those and integrate those. I'm actually hoping to get another 5 or 6 computers in here eventually, to start to do that kind of stuff, to start to do some of the more advanced lab work with ProWare. But again, it takes money, that takes time, that takes, you know, making sure that I know how to use it, make sure that they know how to use it properly. That brings in a whole nother money issue. There are stuff out there, but it's money.
Governor, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Really nice meeting you. Nice meeting you. Nice meeting you.
Study climate change.
Good luck in all you do.
Definitely going up.
We're gonna get there. Okay, good, thanks.